Hi everyone. Today me and my group were here today to speak to you guys about legalizing marijuana in the state of California. And our audience are California voters, and specifically for students like you guys. All of us here should be California voters. Now, what I'm going to tell you guys about is give you guys a little bit background information about what marijuana is, when it started, and the current status quo as long as it's illegal right now. What is marijuana? Maybe many of you guys may know that marijuana is something people smoke, people get high, and all the bad things about it. But what really is marijuana? Someone's come and ask you. According to National Institute of Drug Abuse, it's an online research to improve treatment and prevention of drugs. They define marijuana as weed, herb, or grass that's a mixture of dry, shredded leaves, stems, or seeds. And just a little background, when did marijuana start? According to an article, Why is Marijuana Illegal? By Peter Geether, an executive director of Prohibition Isn't Free Foundation. He said that marijuana existed more than 7,000 BC. And for most of the human history, marijuana was legal. It became illegal in the 1913 Marijuana Tax Act. So as we all know right now, in the state of California, marijuana is illegal. But why is it illegal? It's not harmful. As a matter of fact, we use it to cure people for many reasons. And it falls in the category of herb, weed, and as I mentioned, we use it for medical reasons. According to the American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language Online edition, on the freedictionary.com, they define an herb as a plant whose stem does not produce woody, persistent tissue, and it also dies at the end of the season. Continue on to that, according to journal publication on Soft Secret website, which is a free online publication about marijuana in 30 different countries, including the United States. In one of the articles called Cannabis Season 101, they stated that marijuana has 4 seasons: planting season, grow season, harvesting, and also a season where it cannot even grow. Outdoor plantation is impossible. So as I mentioned here, you see that marijuana it has its own 4 seasons, and the definition of a herb says that it dies at the end of the season. So according to these 2 definitions, marijuana is seen as an herb. Continue on to that. In an article called Medical Marijuana for Pain and Depression by James J. on DisabledWorld.com, which provides information and news to disabled organization and communication. In the article, it says that they use marijuana to cure pain, depression, muscle, chronic pain, and also major problems like epilepsy too. So as you guys have heard what marijuana is, where it came from, and what we use it for, I'll continue on to Rejeania.
Okay, so C talked about what is marijuana, and I'll be talking about who's to blame in terms of why is marijuana illegal in the state of California. So first, I'm going to talk about how our opponents have demonized marijuana and how the federal government ban has stopped us from enjoying this herb. And us, the policymakers, we made a flaw in 2010, which is why the policy did not pass initially. So our opponents state that marijuana is a gateway drug. So by a show of hands, how many of you have heard that statement? Okay, keep your hand up if you believe that. Okay, that's because we're educated. We understand that that's not true. According to the Scientific American Mind Journal, research has shown that there's no conclusive evidence that marijuana is a gateway drug. However, they state that if you're going to do drugs, you're going to do it anyway. People just happen to choose marijuana. Furthermore, they found that those who smoke marijuana, they also drink alcohol and they smoke cigarettes. So are we stating that alcohol and nicotine is a gateway drug? Of course not. That's ludicrous. Those are acceptable vices. But if we let the health Nazis dictate what we're going to put in our bodies, then what's going to happen is we're going to have no vices left. We're going to have nothing to lean upon. So my next point is about the federal government, which C talked about with the Marijuana Act of 1937, which banned marijuana on a federal level. You can't smoke it medicinally or recreationally. This mirrors 1920 with the prohibition of alcohol, and it didn't work back then, and it's not going to work now. You're not going to ban us from doing what we want to do. Douglas Fine, he did an interview. He's an investigative reporter with the Journal of Reason, and he stated that when we make something illegal, then it profits drug cartels. So the government, in essence, is supporting drug dealers. If I'm taking too far of a leap there. So what we need to do here is make it legal. We need to take the money away from the drug dealers. We need to tax it so that we can have a balanced budget. And furthermore, we need to stand up for our state rights, state sovereignty, instead of letting the federal government tell us what to do. Lastly, as I mentioned, we, the policymakers, were at fault because, as our opponents mentioned, we did not illustrate the consequences of marijuana. We made a big case about how we have monetary gain. Karen, who is a California state student here, she stated that we already smoke it, so we might as well make money off of it, which is a great support for us. But we didn't mention, like the LA Times state, that we don't have a standard like alcohol as in terms of what are the consequences if you smoke and drive. And John will talk about that more in his policy. We have heard the cries of the opponents, and we're going to outline it better for our opponents. In summation, we need to stand up for personal freedom. We need to be able to state what we want to put in our bodies. And we need to keep the momentum going. We have to act now. Colorado and Washington, they've already passed a proposition that legalizes marijuana. We need to keep that going. Thank you.